If you want to better understand American civics, you first need to understand the geography of the US. Geography plays a huge role in how America's government is shaped and how the US became an economic and military powerhouse. Hello and welcome to Civics IQ, a series presented by GovDogs. I'm Jack, and in episodes 1 and 2, we're going to cover everything you need to know about geography. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and if you found value in this video, consider giving it a like. All right, let's get into episode 2, where we discuss renewable and non-renewable resources, as well as the regions of the United States. Okay, let's get into renewable and non-renewable resources. So, quick question for you. What do you think non-renewable resources are? Break it down, non-renewable. So what a non-renewable resource is a resource that cannot be remade or regrown at a scale comparable to its consumption, okay? Now, there is a misconception about non-renewable resources. The misconception is that once you use them, they're fully gone, right? Now, that in practice may be true. For example, coal and natural gas, that is more or less true for us because it takes so long to produce these natural resources that, yeah, generally, it's going to take so long anyway that they are more or less used up. They will be gone. But it's important to remember the definition here, okay? Cannot be remade or regrown at a pace scalable to their consumption, all right? That is very, very important, meaning we consume it faster than we can recreate it. Here are some examples of non-renewable resources, okay? Nuclear fission creates uranium, then that uranium creates energy. Nuclear energy is non-renewable because once uranium is used, it's gone. Coal, petroleum, and natural gas are also non-renewable resources because they cannot be replenished at a rate that we consume them. In America, we consume a lot of natural gas, we consume a lot of coal, petroleum, etc., in cars, in our homes, and things like that, and we cannot recreate that stuff as fast as we can consume it. So how is coal made? Actually really cool. Basically, biomatter, or things that were once living, get condensed by heat and pressure, and the dead plants and biomatter turn into coal. So, oil and gas are made in a very, very similar way. All of that biomatter gets condensed by heat and pressure and pushed really, really far down into the earth, and they, creates oil and gas deposits, which we then drill for and extract from the earth itself. So, what's the difference between coal, oil, and natural gas? Well, one is solid, coal, one is a liquid, gasoline, and one is gas, which is natural gas. So, if non-renewable resources cannot be remade at a scale comparable to its consumption, what are renewable resources? Renewable resources are natural resources that can be replenished at a scale comparable to their consumption. Here are some of the most popular renewable resources. You have solar, wind, water, geothermal, and biomass. Now, geo, we just talked about what geo means. Geo means earth, thermal means heat. So geothermal is heat from the earth. Solar is obviously energy from the sun. Why is it renewable? Because last time I checked, the sun is still shining. Geothermal is energy from the heat of the earth. Why is that renewable? Because the earth is hot, especially in the center of the earth, the core. And wind, why is wind renewable? Because I can look out my window right now and I can see the palm trees blowing in the breeze, therefore wind is renewable. And then biomass, so energy from burning organic or living matter. Why is biomass renewable? Because we can regrow it at a scale comparable to its consumption. Water and hydroelectric are also renewable. Energy from the flow of water is hydroelectric, right? Hydro meaning water, electric meaning electricity. This is an example. A lot of dams, such as the Hoover Dam, use hydroelectricity to create energy. And why is this renewable? Because the earth is 80, 90, 100% water. So think quickly about the differences between renewable and non-renewable, right? Renewable can be recreated at a scale comparable to its consumption, meaning no matter how hard we try, we cannot use all of it. Non-renewable, okay, cannot be remade at a scale comparable to its consumption. So, will it be remade eventually? Absolutely, but can we consume it way faster than we can recreate it? Yes. All right, so let's get into the regions of the United States. Remember, I briefly spoke about how regions can be kind of malleable, and depending on what the geographer is trying to the message the geographer is trying to get across, regions can look a little bit different depending on the map and the geographer. So the Northeast, geographically, is the smallest of the 5 regions, but it's the most populated. 11 states, mostly urban areas, including New York and Philadelphia. Many residents are descendants from European settlers, including myself. So what do they do for industry, especially historically? You have fishing, shipping, and trade, right? New York and Philadelphia are huge ports that export things across the Atlantic Ocean. You also have coal mines, you have timber, you have farms, and you have syrup, in Vermont specifically. Rocky soil and cold winters make it hard to farm in these areas, although you can produce a little bit of cash crops here. So the South, this has warm, rich soil and lots of rain, okay? Predominantly, a lot of crops have been grown here, historically especially. So certain crops like soybeans, citrus, and tobacco. Cattle ranching mostly in Texas, but also in Florida. You have coal, oil, and natural gas. You have textiles in the aerospace industry, right? Cape Canaveral. You also have, Johnson Space Center in Houston. And you also have large rural areas in the South. So a lot less cities in the South, a lot more land, a lot more agricultural based, and you also have an aerospace industry in Florida and Texas. The Midwests are keynoted by the Great Lakes and the Great Plains. You have flat, fertile land, drier climate, colder in the winter than the South. Obviously, it's a little bit further north. We also produce crops such as corn, wheat, known as the breadbasket of the U.S., like I spoke about previously. You have iron steel manufacturing in Detroit and Cleveland. So the interior West, this is very, very dry. Think like more like that desert, Nevada, Arizona type stuff. Farmers grow cotton and alfalfa. Ranchers raise livestock being cows and things like that. Mining of coal, copper, and iron. A lot of mountainous regions will have coal, copper, and iron. You also have aerospace, but this is more of the testing portion of the aerospace industry. Now you might say, okay, Florida and Texas have aerospace industries as well. Why does the interior West have aerospace? Well, a lot of the testing goes down there. Deserts are a great place to test aerospace technology, right? Because it's wide open, not a lot of people there, so they can test whatever they need to test. Also have the Rocky Mountains and the Arizona desert, and the Grand Canyon is located here as well. Lastly, we have the Pacific. The climate varies, but is generally rainy with mild temperatures. You have gold, lead, copper, and they're very abundant here. Fertile valleys in California and Washington, and tourism, livestock, oil, and plastics, also satellite communications, are very prevalent in this area. All right, this concludes episode 2 of Civics IQ presented by GovDogs. Thank you for hanging out, and don't forget to catch episode 3 where we delve into American citizenship.